I caught myself this time. Didn't say hi. Let's see if I can keep it going for next time. Real strange place at the moment, and gonna talk it through on live stream. My problems in public, because my mental health is trying to show me that it's a problem again, and I know it's a problem. I shouldn't be doing this, ideally, but my life hasn't changed, or I'm not able to see the changes enough in my life, given how much this helps, and given how much, the most important thing is how much I know that when life rejigs itself appropriately and comes back into place, I'll have to stop these videos. And that's what I'm trying to get clear on in this video, is rejigging life again, so I'm clear. I had some, I won't even call it bad news, it was just a reminder of pardon me. It was a reminder of how much in the there's no other word, shit of it I am with things at present. And just that there's no rest. I wanted to give myself a few days where I could let go of the angst of hospital, the pressures my body had been put under. But it looks like it's not just hospital, it's life at present. Life is putting a lot of pressure on me to steer me in a new direction. So what I'm giving myself now is not a few days off, but it's like I was hoping to just chill out for a few days, not to feel it in my body, you know, not to because that was where the problem was before, when I wanted to feel rest, but just to rest with life and what I was doing. And I guess that's what I'm still doing, but at a totally different level, with the pressures come on me all of a sudden. And maybe what I'm thinking is that maybe it's life saying, hang on, Andreas, you were going to restart on Monday going to work, you were going to go about it like this, you know, you were going to be the same old Andreas, but what we want of you is to be a little bit more relaxed about things, and to get on with the same stuff. So I don't know how that's going to pan out, but I'm seeing it as a possibility. It makes sense on a logical level, but who knows? I really don't know. I'll see how that pans out. But what I'm dealing with, the multi-complexities of life, is how to live. Is how does one live in this world? because the world teaches you to be, you have to be hard in this world. It's not an easy world to live in. Even for us here in the West, you know, with all of our luxuries and easy life, it's not easy. You've got stuff to protect, you've got stuff to work for, you've got stuff to care about. You've got to forget about being so heart-centered, and that's a challenge. That's work, because you can't just forget about being so heart-centered. No. When you forget about being heart-centered, what I'm talking about being heart-centered is our humanness, our humanity. When you walk on the street and you see a homeless person, and life conditions you that you've got to be restrictive with your money, that you don't give them the money because society is so complex that they found themselves in the street in that point in time, and blah blah blah, and you just set it as a set rule that you don't give money to homeless people. It does something to you on a psychological level if you're not able to deal with it. And that's hard work. When you've got to live for possessions and materialism, because that's the world we live in, otherwise you're going to be on the street. And you're going to be homeless yourself. So we've got choices all the time. We've got choices to make, and choices aren't easy. I'm guessing by nature, life is a little bit more simple. You wake up every day, and life gives you your challenges, and you have to deal with them there and then. And that's it. It's flat. You know, think about a caveman. Think about a nomadic man that travels all the time and has no resources on him. That is life. That is what is nature. But we've come a long way in a few thousand years. We're in a bit of a different place at present. And we have choices to make now. Instead of it being, do I go this way or that way? It's a case of, do I go this way or that way, up or down? How much money do I spend? How much money do I save? How much time do I use? You know, my survival is taken care of as long as I focus and focus and focus on this. I don't have to think about food. I can go to the shop for that. I just have to focus on maintaining a balance at a fucking elevated level. And I've got discontentment in my voice because it's essentially what I'm fighting. My life is showing me as the problem that's fighting me. But it's the situation, and I don't want to have any emotions there. I need to be clean, I need to be clear, I need to be on the ball. Because if I don't, life will bite me in the arse. So how does one keep the complexities of life, strive for unconditional love, which is an attainment of humanity? That's not an attainment, but it's an attainment to live by, because it's not possible to achieve. So how does one strive for a life where they're striving for unconditional love? How does one meet the challenges of the world and find balance within that? Um, this is a really sticky place that I found myself in, and these are the questions I'm asking myself right now. How do I find balance when my life is a bit more off the beaten track? That's the word. That's the way I'm looking to describe it. Off the beaten track than just the normal life. Because the normal lives, if you're living by family, if you're living by employment, if you're living by all these things, you have a lot of experience to make your decisions by. I don't have so much choice, you know. You got a mental health disorder, you either learn to live with it, or it lives you, or people take control of you. And that's the basic impression that I have, basic viewpoint I have of dealing with it. I know there are people that have overcome it. It just seems like everyone's missing. You know, they overcome it in one way. They overcome it by living to society, or I don't know. I guess I need to do research there, and thank you for this video. It's given me something to do. But there's another lady who's overcome it, and there was something missing in her as a human being. It was like she was cold. It was like she was removed, and I guess it's not about how you present, is it? It's just about what you manage to keep in your mind, that you're able to love, and how you appear isn't important. And I suppose that's what it is. So right, my life, I'm struggling to focus on the best way forward, given a few complexities and a few real challenges of what I'm having to question in terms of my own physical experience of life, so my own senses, and having to make choices about medication, for instance, that affects my senses and my body and my ability to live, which I knew this before. And then it versus against what I believe is the spiritual solution to my problem, and that is personal freedom. I believe this is my own journey to finding what personal freedom means for me. And this is probably why it isn't defined, because it's possibly different for every single person. So given that I've just stumbled across that as a likely reality, that it's different for every person and it's correct for every person, but given that I've got a lot of input in my life from my uncle and a lot of, I want to say powerful, but teachers in my life that wouldn't have let me rest easily in oh, this is personal freedom, let's settle for that. No, they would have made me really know what personal freedom is, not just settle for a philosophy, but know a philosophy. And I'm being torn between essentially what my uncle imparted in me, because that was just a basis, be there unconditionally. That was in essence what, if I had to state it just now off the top of my head, looking at my uncle, his life towards me, what I saw in him, every interaction, it was unconditional love. I can't deny his message to my life, over the past, 16, no, be almost 18 years now, half my life, having him as a role model there for me for that amount of time, in and around that amount of time, and I suppose the unconditional love aspect didn't come in for a couple of years after that, so maybe 15, 16 years of my life, love, spirituality has been the fundamental drive. And doing good for the world has been there as the fundamental drive. But in everything that my life has given me, the challenges it's given me, my mental health disorder, the teachers from afar that I've tried to listen to, and the teachers close that I've seen as well, what do? Do I just cast off my everybody else except for my uncle, that I know his message is pure, it's clear, it's to the point, and forget everything else I've ever been taught? Or because it is me and it is my life, and I know my failings as a youngster, my weaknesses, and I know my uncle's want for me to become more of a man than a child, and the only aspect I really have for unconditional love is to be childlike. So already my uncle's created a contradiction for me, in what he's shown me as his teachings. So I've looked outside, I've looked to other people over my life as the solution to my weaknesses that my uncle highlighted. But the more I look to other people, the more I get away from my uncle's simplicity of his message. And I'm totally dumbfounded because And I suppose I'm going to realise something on camera now for myself, because I'm about to say it and I don't know how it's going to go. So the other people that I've looked to, provide elements of truth for me. To what I saw as the solution to my ego versus what my uncle taught. So let's remove my ego for a second and see if the final solution looks any different. Well, given everything I've experienced, I don't know. I'm happy to let myself go, but because life has shown me now that life is broken. There's something within people that is broken. Now the questioning of, well, do I listen to my uncle as a simplistic message to a broken vision of people I have, and still apply it? So in other words, I become weak to an ideal against an unideal situation. So it would look like me doing the right thing to myself more than others, but fitting in with others more. So my life would have more balance. My life would have more stability, and I guess that's what I need. Or do I continue to live my life the way I have because there's something wrong with the way I've been taught by life and everybody else? And do I hold a little bit of strength in my core, knowing that, hang on a second, yes, I've got an ego. We all have egos. But I've just tried to live my uncle's message for the last X amount of years in balancing out my ego. Given that we have this amazing power of communication in language, is it Is it fair that my life looks as it does all the same? Because if my life looks like this as a result of me trying to live a good message, well, it's going to look like this for other people trying to live a good message. And if you're all broken, if not you're all broken, but if there's something wrong about society in the way it's operating, and there's something there that needs to be fixed, at what point do I get off and say, right, I'm the solution? It's a big one to take, and the last bit of advice my uncle gave me, there's no emotion there, I don't know where the emotion came from. The last bit of advice my uncle gave me was be humble and you suffer less. That was me translating it into a message that my uncle gave me. We had a funny way of communicating. The messages would be sent and given by him to me more than me to him in an indirect way, and I guess that was his Taoist way. But what he actually said was, you taught me to be humble. And I didn't, now the emotions are half through. Because in hospital, I realised after fighting it for 35 years that it's okay to be good towards other human beings and want to give to other human beings, and that's just my nature. And because of what I've been taught from the outside world, that it's not good to give, that you have to be have a little bit of a solidity about you. Sorry, I'm speaking slow because I'm taking in all the different complexities. Essentially, I'll take a break so you can see I'm focused. His last message to me was, be humble and you will suffer less. But his actual words to me were, you taught me to be humble. Now, in this moment, right this moment, I am considering, do I stand here and say, look, the world is fucked, man. I can't see a solution for hell. There's no prophets, there's no messiahs, there's nobody even flipping teaching anymore the correct message that I can really see. You get a few people that give half a message, but there's nobody standing up there and being a real bloody role model, you know, telling the world of what's right and wrong, what you know, highlighting the problems as well as the solutions. And in me, all I know is that I don't have the answer to the solutions. All I know is in me, I know the answer to the solution, and it's simple, it's love. And that's all I've tried to live by, and I've got to hear. So do I claim that I am the solution, because the world is pretty fucked up, and I start saying, well, look, the problem is coming for me now. I've done nothing wrong. I'm just trying to get on with my life. I've tried every which way to go about it in a practical, grounded way, and life kept stopping me. And I'll repeat it. My uncle's last words were, "You taught me to be humble." Because what happened was, after I said those words to me, and as I said, started to think, hang on a sec, maybe my uncle does want me to stand up on myself and stand up for myself and say, look, all I've tried to do is love. And I'm effed up first, and it's come out in the wrong way, but I've tried all along to learn my lessons, and I know that. And it's still looking wrong. So is it now time for me to stand up, or is it now time for me to claim unconditional love? And I think I know the answer to this, and that is I know. And I am a little bit emotional, but the emotions coming out of my mouth are a little bit more amplified than they need to be. And that is I know. I know good people. I know people that are fucked up themselves. I know beyond what people claim to be acceptable in knowing, given our simplistic humanity on this level, because you can't accept this level and be a humanitarian. And people, I know people, humanitarians, and they're waiting. They're secret agents in disguise, man. They're keeping quiet because I don't know, but I know that people are awake. And I think what just happened was I've realised that my uncle's just set me free. He's in his last message to me. Of you taught me to be humble, and the message was be humble and you will suffer less. It's set me free to say, do what you want to dress. Do what you believe, do what you feel, do what you feel pressured by. And I'll tell you now, because I don't care about the flipping videos anymore, man. One day, one person will watch this in its entirety, and they'll hear the message I'm trying to send. I know nobody's watching on Facebook and nobody's watching on YouTube anymore. I don't care. I know I've got to stand here and I've got to speak to this camera for myself, not for anybody else, in the knowledge that one day one person will listen. And that's all I want, one person to listen, the imparting of consciousness from myself in what I believe is absolute clarity to another individual. I don't care who it is. And I've forgotten. In that little emotional burst of stating why I'm doing this right now and allowing myself to continue, regardless that it's been 35 minutes, And ideally I want to keep it under 7 every time, if not shorter. And I always run over, because I know nobody listens otherwise. So here's me saying I don't care, and here's me saying I don't care, I forgot. I'll carry on talking, and I know it'll either come back to me or it won't, and I'll wrap it up and it will either make sense or it won't. Right now, this is the most important video I think I've possibly made, and that is, the world is fucked, man. I believe my whole life I'm here for something special. So yes, I make a stand. And what I forgot just came back to me. It must be 13 years ago now. I had some prophetic dreams about what looks like this time now. And I'm petrified of the dreams. The one factor, forget everything, all the little details in the dream, it was how I presented within the dream, and I was cold. I was really, really cold, like I'd just been punched in the face by life. Kicked in the gonads, my hair ripped out, my beard cut off. Which is where I am now. And I've got a choice, I think. I can either go down the route of the medication. No. That's where I am now. And I'm petrified of the coldness, how I presented. But in what I know of people, I don't get a sense of a lie in the dream. You don't hold to prophetic dreams. You don't act upon prophetic dreams. Not when your action is going to interfere with other people's lives. No more Joan of Arc and her messages from the gods and war being cast everywhere. It's not appropriate anymore. But where I am is that I know I've done that work to clear and be impartial to this. I'm just in the moment, looking at it in absolute honesty. I don't know. I was going to say, I don't get the and then the prophetic dreams weren't nothing special, man. Don't think I turned into Jesus or something like that. They were very surreal. They were very synesthetic in their message, and nothing was really given to me to say that I had an ego from it. There's nothing for me to get a big head about. But what I was going to say is, there's nothing within them for me to believe that they're a lie. And I'm so close to being that coldness. I felt it for the first time in hospital. It was like, whoa, not felt it. But yes, felt it. Like literally from where I am, I could feel it and I could embody it. There's a lot of work to do, and as I said in that blog post, I don't know if anyone read, I have to swim through Marmite to get there. But given where my life is leading up to, there's just like, that's where things are going. There isn't a reason why things are going to change. And unfortunately, I don't think I can see how to take my uncle's message and his purity of unconditional love to people and apply that to my life now to steer it in any other way. I think it's a locked on course autopilot, and there's not much I can do about it. And my dinner's getting cold, so I'm going to wrap it up one way or another. There's always choice. I know I have choice. I don't feel powerless, and I think I might have to take that choice on. Because in truth, where I am right now, given my life, there is nothing I can do to make my life worthwhile and do some good for the world. My life is done with in that respect. So it might be a case of the best chance I have is to just live life. And know that the solution is love. From there I'll be able to see if there's any change I can make. Goodbye.